Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope that you guys are all having a good start to the morning. I'm going to start sharing my screen, or you guys should be able to see my screen already. Right now, we have crude oil showing signs of a peak formation, so I'm going to try to get in with just a few shares. So we got in, there we go. So I got in at around 545 on DWT. Here we go. We're beginning to show signs of a reversal. I went in with a very small position size, about $15,000. Overall, based off of my account size, it's relatively pretty small. Why did I go in it? Crude oil became super overbought. It could 100% still continue to rally, so that's why I'm in with a very small position size. It's showing signs of a pullback, and because of that sign of a pullback, I want to wait till it actually begins to make some lower lows, as we might see some form of consolidation around this general area, and kind of approach it with that. Here it goes. So again, not up very much, and my upside potential for profit in my eyes. So again, with an average purchase price of, you guys should be able to see it right here. If not, I'll make it a little bit bigger. Average purchase price of $5.4496. Let's just say $5.45, right? Right here with where we're at 4.5, upside potential to it, for it to even go up to 555, 1.7%. For a potential for loss with a much smaller position size at around 0.5%. So in my eyes, I see that to be worth it. If you don't, then simply don't trade it, right? I think we could approach it with that. And it looks like crude oil, again, is consolidating. It's very bullish all pre-market session. Not all pre-market session, since 6 o'clock. I believe there is a report that came out that stated that, I think I could pull it up actually. On crude oil, here it goes. So U.S. crude oil stockpile is likely to rise. Not sure if that's the one that actually acted as a positive catalyst for crude oil, but you could just see that right around 6 o'clock. From it being in showing signs of a descending pattern, it just aggressively began to change its overall direction. So because of that, we definitely wanted to just keep an eye out on it, since it did begin to change its direction, especially with it being the crude oil report. I didn't miss out on a huge amount. I think you guys would be actually pretty happy with how things played out on this one. I did take one trade, and I'll show you guys here during pre-market session. Only 100 shares. So 100 shares of DGAS. This is about $14,000 to $15,000, if I'm not mistaken, with 100 shares. And my buy and my sell. Super simple. It was super conservative in my eyes, right? So let me go ahead and just set my alerts as before I continue to talk. But I wanted to explain what happened with DGAS and why did I buy. So it's kind of choppy to see. First of all, DGAS is now at 151.16. My show orders hasn't really been working. I don't know about you guys. Let's see if it works. Nope, still doesn't work. I know that a lot of you guys were having the same issues on your TD Ameritrade. Not too sure what's going on. Here it goes. We have a strong push up on crude oil. Let's see what we'll have to do here. Looks like we might have an overall reversal already. So really happy that I went in with a small position size. So let's see how much we're down. $54, not too bad. Let's see though. There it goes, beginning to pull back. But let me explain this very quickly, if you guys are okay with it. Why did I take a position on DGAS, which is the inverse? I saw natural gas to begin to consolidate. Not only did I see it consolidate, but under the trade ideas section, if you guys focus here, it was right around 559. So natural gas overbought, but still holding up. The reason that I don't say that hey, it's time to buy natural gas or anything like that, or DGAS, is because, again, I don't want to be someone that tells you what to buy or what to sell. But altogether, I pointed out that natural gas, based off of recent patterns, was looking overbought. It was consolidating. It approached the resistance, right? There it goes. Crude oil pushing up once again, and it's about to make new highs. So DWT. Hasta la vista. Whoa, this one actually made lower lows, while crude oil still didn't make lower lows. So, huge push. Let's see. Yep, 3.9. Crude oil looking super, super bullish. Let's see where we're at with this. Yikes. Even with a small position size, it's crazy to see how much crude oil can move and how it can still, or smaller position size. So crude oil still looking super bullish. So we're right around, for this one, 3940. Let's see if we can pull back a little bit. Nope. 3839. Let's see. Again, we have about 27 minutes until the report comes out. So 27 minutes until the report comes out. Just a little heads up for all of you guys that probably don't want to hold. If you don't want to hold during the report, probably, if this is the first time you watching the report happen, probably in your best interest just to kind of watch, see what happens, how it reacts, and to kind of just observe it, right? But one of the things that I just wanted to talk about on natural gas is I found it to be overbought. I began to see this thing indicate signs of a resistance. I saw pullback potential. So because of that, I went on to DGAS, and just so you guys could see here, I bought 100 shares at 146 and then sold 100 shares at 148.20. So it wasn't anything crazy, but I bought at a pretty good price point. So if you look at 146 during pre-market hours, 146 is not a bad price, right? And then I sold at 148.20, which in my opinion isn't too bad either. It was approaching the middle VWAP. I just wanted to lock it in, but it ended up pushing up another 2%, which definitely would have been nice. But again, you win some, you lose some, you can't win them all. But I wanted to explain. I saw natural gas to be so overbought. I began to see it indicate signs of a resistance. I put my limit order during the pre-market session to try to get in for a good buy, and that's how it played out. I could have gone in more aggressively, right, with larger shares. Again, we didn't know if natural gas was going to aggressively push up, just kind of like crude oil is doing right now. So I went in with a few shares here on DWT, but crude oil is acting so bullish. And if anything, I personally think that crude oil is much more volatile than natural gas. So even though there is a much bigger spread on DGAS, I still almost prefer to. I've done better, in my opinion, trading the natural gases, especially recently. So, but yeah, so it's just natural gas or crude oil is pretty volatile, and sometimes that is pretty attractive. But look at this, like this volatility of it continuing to push up and push down. It's just pretty crazy, but it's sometimes frustrating when the direction is not in your favor. So nobody ever went broke by taking profits. I agree. Here it goes. It looks like we're getting another push. Crazy. It's just so bullish. Yeah. I'm just gonna, and I know this is probably gonna be the peak of, so the peak of DGAS, right? I'm sorry, of crude oil. So I could see this being one of its high points, right? So if I sell here on DWT, no, but I think it's just in my best interest to manage my risk, and I'm just gonna keep it at that. So sold at 53927. So took a bit of a loss on that one, so I'm only up $50 now per share, or I'm sorry, on my overall account. So I took a $170 loss. It's too bullish right now. So it has a lot to run. A lot to give back for crude oil, but I know that I've been put in very sticky situations for crude oil. I don't know if any of you guys can agree, where crude oil is just aggressively pushing up, and when it's against you, like it's definitely against you, and it's very very frustrating just seeing this thing not really pull back. Like it pulls back from time to time, but it just continues to break every single resistance level, and it holds above the EMA line very very well in my experience. I don't know if you guys can agree or have ever had that form of experience, but yeah, we'll see kind of where it goes once we begin to show more signs of confirmation. Then maybe if we feel comfortable enough, I can decide to get back in. But degas trading right around 150, so it's beginning to show signs of almost a peak formation. So natural gas, again, a little bit more on the oversold side. We'll see if it actually begins to formulate a reversal, and we'll go from there. So yeah, here it goes. We're back at 540, 541. So beginning to pull back a little bit. Oh yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see why that could be a bad situation. Here it goes. Back to the EMA line. One day, 5 minute chart. Still showing signs of a resistance. Still showing signs of an uptrend, so not really pulling back much yet. Here it goes. There it goes. Just broke below the EMA line. Not making lower lows just yet. So again, it has broken below the EMA line before. So again, crude oil has been super bullish. So we'll see what happens. All right, we're back at 542, 543. If you add to your position size, it's still considered one trade, right? Yeah. If you sell multiple times, then it's not. All right. Okay. I see this. This thing looks like it's about to push up though, right? So, and then we had a question about /GC. Overall, pretty bullish on the day. I would say that this is more on the overbought side than oversold based off of this overall uptrend. So, yeah. But it is actively uptrending. It's just, I don't think pulled back enough to make the margin of profit worth it. That's up to you to decide, Matthew. It's whatever it is that you feel most comfortable with. So for everyone, it's going to be different. If you see that with 10% of your trading account, if that's something that even if it moves 1 or 2%, that it doesn't bring out a lot of emotion, then cool, right? So do you get charged commission if you add to your position size? Well, I'm on TD Ameritrade, so we don't get charged for commissions anymore, but normally you would. But again, that's indifferent to me because it's not about the commission that I'm trying to focus on. It's about the opportunity and feeling comfortable with it. If averaging up isn't in your best interest because you have to pay higher commissions, then you have to wait and be more patient for confirmation, right? So there's just no other way around it. If you just don't want to pay commissions for potential reversals and getting in too early, then don't do it and just wait more for confirmation. You just have to be more patient. So I can definitely see that if the spread was $5, the market was probably either closed or it was during extended hours. Here we go. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I agree, Matthew. It really helps, I think, because, a lot of our emotions come from the idea of maybe having too much stake in a position. And when it's not going according to plan, it can be frustrating, and that's where our emotions, come from. So I think, the least amount of capital to have in the game while still, having some skin in the game, if that's an approach that you would like to take, then of course, so be it. Here it goes, beginning to pull back. It's actually beginning to show signs of potential pullback right here for /CL. Not making lower lows just yet though. So I wouldn't be too sold on this. I want to see continuous lower lows. And again, we have a lot of margin for crude oil to pull back. And again, we have about 17 minutes until the report comes out. So what are your thoughts on the market today? I don't know. I mean, not really following the overall market. Looks like from where we closed at yesterday and where we're at right now, we're up on the day, right? Yeah, overall up. After that big pullback, I think everything sold off overnight. There's a pretty aggressive sell-off on almost everything. But things have kind of been all over the place. So I would try to, depending on what commodity or what focus you have within the market, I would try to find to see if you see a consistent pattern, a big opportunity, a big potential play. And if so, set up a plan, set your alerts and stick to it and wait for the opportunity to confirm itself. And until it does, I wouldn't touch anything. So huge pullback on /GC. CL. Good morning, C. What's up? What's up? Here it goes. We got crude oil getting to push up again. I just really dislike this. So much inconsistencies. This is a perfect example that indicators are great to use as a reference, but look at the past, all of this. All of this. It was not accurate. It was not accurate. It was not accurate. None of this. So, if anything, if you go on the 1 day 5 minute chart, this has a chance of being a little bit more accurate, as you can see, right? Because it takes a little bit more time to confirm that reversal. So that's why we've said that maybe we'll focus on the 1 day 5 minute chart to get more true confirmation would be ideal. But sometimes if there's not enough margin, it eats up all the margin before it actually reverses or fully reverses. Hey, Gutierrez, what time do you wake up in the mornings? Christian, every day is different. Some mornings I'll wake up for the pre-market session. So this morning, I have my alarm set up almost every single day to wake up at 4 a.m. So it doesn't mean that I stay up, right? And I'm in bed. But when I saw the play, and I have my alerts set, so I'll wake up, I'll set my alerts, and if I see a nice play with a consistent pattern, then I'll trade. I'll wake up and actually trade and come to my trading area. But other than that, if, I just don't see anything happen, I'll set my alerts, and if none of them get triggered or if I don't wake up, then I'll just wake up at 6 o'clock and then get ready for the 6:30 live stream. Sometimes I'll sleep in until 6:15, and if I really, really trying to cut it close, then I'll do that. So. Pulling back. Again, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't have to, Gio, right? I do agree that if you do go on the 5 day 5 minute chart, there has been some form of consolidation, and it's not consistent by any means. But you can kind of see the high points, the low points throughout the day and stuff like that. So I can definitely see why a lot of you guys are being able to see that, but it's just still kind of all over the place that it's not consistent enough where I would want to focus on that. So depending on the time frame that you check out, I think it has a big influence on how you see it. We have 13 minutes. 13 minutes until the report comes out. Head and shoulders forming on /CL. I don't think we've pulled back enough to formulate a head and shoulders, but yeah, I get what you mean. Here we go. How's natural gas looking? Natural gas, packet support. Where's DGAS at? 15169. I like that. Will natural gas make lower lows, or will it actually bounce? That's a good question to ask, right? It was selling off all pre-market session. Look at that. All pre-market session until right around 5 o'clock. Boop. Pushed up, peaked out right around 6 o'clock, pulled back. So I'll set alerts on both sides to see if we actually begin to make lower lows or higher highs, to have a more clear understanding of, should we go with the flow with DGAS, or should we wait for a reversal on UGAS? Crude oil, again, still pushing up. And if you look at previous highs on crude oil, it definitely, still has more margin to potentially continue to scale to, right? So let's be patient with this one. It definitely is very overbought. There's no question about that with this push. But again, we have the report today. So this is going to be a big factor on what drives the price up or down. Based off of its performance at 6 o'clock and how it began to uptrend just at 6 o'clock after that report came out, I think that it's showing signs that it's promising for, crude oil and UWT. I wouldn't hold it and bet on it at all, like by any means, but I think that there's, I think everything has a reason, and leading up to the report, especially with such a consistent descending pattern, it makes sense on why that news factored into that and why it's trying to hold so well. Direction do you think? Oh, I think I answered it. They also close. Okay, yeah, 2. So from 2 to 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I've noticed that they close. There it goes, crude oil making higher highs. Jeez Louise, holy smokes, look at that. Crude oil is so bullish. It's almost frustrating. I'm not even in this anymore, and it's just so frustrating. It's just so frustrating that, like, how bullish it can be when it just continues to push. How does it feel to see how far you've come? It's good. But again, I mean, with trading, it's a little different, right? With trading, you're challenged every single day, so it doesn't matter how far you've come every day. I mean, you feel more composed to an extent because you have more experience. So again, higher highs on crude oil, that's in favor of UWT. But I think that's one of the things that people, if you've ever asked me, like, why am I so motivated every single day? First of all, I personally enjoy what I do. On top of that, I find it challenging. If this was super easy and it was the same thing every day, then it could get boring after time. And sometimes it does in any field, right? But one of the things that I enjoy most is how challenging what I do every day is. And I think a lot of you guys can agree. It's like, we step up to the plate and we have to test our patience, our ability to wait for confirmation, pattern identification, and risk management every single day. And every single day, it's, it doesn't matter how successful you are for how long, you're challenged every single day. So it might become more second nature over time, but because the market's always changing, I think it could keep you on your toes. Sheesh. Natural gas pushing up. Okay, look at that. the first push above. Let's see if we actually begin to make higher highs. MACD looks a little weird, a little overbought. First pullback on /CL. Does it get tough going live every day when you're not feeling up for it? I mean, there's much bigger things that people I think can complain about going live in a room with other people. Does it interfere with my personal life or with my, maybe things I want to do? Of course, my life revolves around trading and our community, and I think that gets taken for granted pretty often as people just assume. And my responsibility is to go live every day. So, but people are just, regardless of how they're feeling, I'm kind of just viewed as someone that has to be there and less of a person that, this is like my job. So, but I enjoy it, and I know that there's much worse things to complain about. Yeah, it sucks sometimes having to wake up early, but, I can't compare it to like my dad, right? My dad had to, when he laid down tile, right? He'd have to wake up super early, and it's a lot of manual labor, and it wasn't so glorious all the time where, he had to work to put food on the table. And that was more like before I was even born. So I think a lot of you guys can agree, depending on, your families or whatever situation might be. If I complain about this and, I have to wake up super early and, there's, I think much more important things to be concerned of. If you don't feel like you're up for it, then don't do it, right? But depends on how bad you want it. 6 minutes left. What's going on, Danson? Aren't you glad that you can take care of your dad? Well, of course, but yeah. Oh, what's going on, Kostas? What's up? Are we gonna have another $1,000 day, Danson? No, I get that, Adrian. I like it, Danson. Cool. There it goes. Crude oil, again, still super bullish, guys. And I know this is frustrating, and that's why I just decided to cut losses quick on my DWT position, because it's just, if there's one I don't want to trade against, it's definitely crude oil. There it goes. Hey, what's going on, Rafa? Welcome to the team. What's up? All right, so we're again waiting. We have 4 minutes left until the report comes out. That's going to either shoot crude oil up or down. So if you're in UWT or DWT or anything that gets influenced by crude oil, close your position if you don't want to be influenced by the report, or forever hold your peace. That's simple. If you accept the risk of how much it could go up and how much it could go down, usually it's around 2 to 3% on the correlating futures, correlating ETFs. So if you're okay with that, cool. But don't just think about how much money you're going to make. Think about how quick it could change directions and not go in your favor, right? And think about the dollar amount that is, the percentage, and are you okay with that? So, and a tight stop. It wouldn't work that way. When the report comes out, even if you do have a stop loss or a stop limit, you will most likely not get filled at the price point that you filled. It moves so quickly that you'll, if you set your stop loss, like let's say if it breaks below 54.49 and it shoots all the way down to 54, you'll probably get filled in between. That's one of the main reasons. So not talking about the report. We just got a couple questions from some of our newer traders yesterday about like, hey Ricky, I think I came up with a good strategy of buying both ETFs and then setting a stop loss on both, so whichever one goes up can run and I cut losses quick on the other one. We've all thought of that, and it just doesn't work that way. I've been trading live with the Learn Plan Profit Group for like 2 years, and there's not been one time that I've ever done that. I never buy both ETFs. It just doesn't make sense. Alrighty. Yeah, no, it's crazy, right? Alrighty, we got 2 minutes left. We got 1 minute and 30 seconds left. We're beginning to see more signs, and now it's actually beginning to show signs of consolidation. So I think we might actually get a pullback, but it's going to come too late for me. Well, yeah, right. We've all thought of it. I think so. I think once you understand the report and you understand, how ETFs work, it's something that we could all think about. They also tend to bounce both directions. Yeah, from time to time. That's the frustrating part. They sometimes one pushes up and then pushes down. So imagine getting stop lossed out on both and maybe not even where your stop loss was. That would be really upsetting. So again, people will learn from their experience if they don't listen to our own, right? So we got 40 seconds left. All right, how's natural gas looking? Still a lot of consolidation. Not bad, but not good. We have both of the alerts set, so I'll set the alert here too. MACD looking a little bit on the overextended side. So crude oil, there it goes. LOL, my broker just shut. Oh shoot, that's not good. Sorry about that. Got 10 seconds left. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I'm just gonna make sure my positions are closed out. 3, 2, 1. There it goes. Oh, and there it goes. Potentially changing direction. We weren't wrong, right? It definitely went in favor of crude oil. There it goes. Aren't we glad that we sold on DWT, huh? Sheesh, look at that. That's the report for you. Craziness. 55. That thing pushed 50 cents just from the report. There it goes. UWT still going. DWT still dropping. I'm feeling very, very indifferent about... I was feeling pretty confident about crude oil and its pullback. Not with this. Like, this is a pretty solid reason on why I almost don't want to even touch it. Pulling back quite a bit. Again, crude oil is just so volatile. There's no other way for me to put it. It's so inconsistent in my opinion. And yeah, it's like all over the place. It tends to make me feel very uncomfortable, even with a small position size. You guys saw how small that position size was, and I gave back $170. So don't just think about all the positives and how much money you're going to make. Think about the risk. Again, if you want to be part of the 5% that actually grow and consistently grow their account, you have to not just think about, I'm going to make money, I'm going to make money, I'm going to make money. But again, think about where they lack the most, and that's risk management. So easy 4% on DWT. It could have been an easy down 4% on UWT, right? So again, I wouldn't be playing with your luck for too long. It's about understanding and feeling comfortable with what you're doing. So here it goes. It's beginning to pull back a little bit, but normally what we see is it pulls back and then it continues to rally. So So I cannot get the risk management down. So C Mesa, one of the things that I would focus on is your position size and something where you don't mind cutting losses. Like even if you focus one whole week on, cutting losses, that's all you focus on. That's not a bad investment. It's 1 week out of your career as a day trader, right? There's nothing wrong with dedicating time in an area that a lot of people lack. So I don't know if you guys have ever thought about that. We've tried to empower you to test it and focus on just, still trying to wait for an overall reversal and wait for a setup. But once that happens, that your sole focus is not even to make a profit, that you want to stop loss out where you just manage your risk. So it just becomes second nature. Do you guys get what I mean? I think that could be a big area of opportunity. So do you place your trades online? Yeah, two of my trades were in this live stream. One was during pre-market. So I've only taken two trades. So 4 orders total. So small positions are awesome. Yeah. And if you allow a good opportunity to present itself, even with small positions, you can make a decent return. So yeah, that's the kind of the assumption that I made, right? So I don't know if you were here for that, but I clearly said that at 6 o'clock we began to see a change of direction with that run up, and because of that run up, I think that there's an intention behind that. So because of that, I felt that came from the potential that you know uh, crude oil was offering and stuff like that. But there it goes; it's continuing to act bullish. So yeah, I'll try that the next 2 days. Again, as small position size as you can get just to get some skin in the game and feel comfortable with it and practice risk management. So what do you normally do after the report? I'll probably give this about 50. So you can see with its volume that the volume is still not normal based off of how it was. So you normally want it to cool off. There's a lot of hype right now. And once that hype dies out, it'll begin to correct itself. And during that correction, that's when I want to trade. So we don't know if that's going to be 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. We don't know exactly. So that's something that you have to weigh out every single time. But yeah. Alrighty. Gustavo, there's a report that's released every Wednesday, 1 hour after the market opens. That's the whole reason that I go live later. So just like tomorrow's the natural gas report. So the same thing will happen for natural gas. It will either push up or push down. So volume pulled back quickly. I did notice that, but I still don't trust crude oil. I still think that it's gonna try to continue to rally. I just don't trust it, dude. I don't know how to put it, guys. I'm gonna wait for confirmation. That's the easiest. I'm super cautious about crude oil. If you guys want to approach it and try to trade the pullback right now, that's up to you. I think with patience, time will only tell, right? Once we actually get that confirmation. So, yeah. So natural gas is trying to reverse, definitely. We'll see if we actually begin to make higher highs. I think that's a good idea, Kostas. I don't think that's a bad idea. If you hit your goal, no reason to continue to trade, right? Especially if there's no opportunity that's presenting itself. Why overtrade? It's wasted time and potential position to put yourself more in the red. 1.5 to 2%. Yeah, that's solid. All right. How are you feeling? Do you guys have any questions before we close out? We're beginning to consolidate a little bit more, but again, if there's anything that can push up, it definitely would not surprise me for crude oil just to continue to rally. So I like that, Timothy. Wow, you guys all hit your goals so early. It's barely 1 hour after the market opens. You guys are crazy. I like it. Lock it in, call it a day, and set your alerts. If something presents itself that's worthwhile, then you'll get alerted. If it's not, then guess what? You don't waste time and you exceed it, if not hit your daily goal. So cool. So I mean, you even count down for the / sale. How? Oh, it's released. Oh, I have the time right here. So it's released 1 hour after the market opens. Like, it's on clockwork. It's like something that we've talked about multiple times. So I have a bunch of videos on it, and yeah, I've talked about it. It's really what we're known for. But yeah, it's one of my favorite days to trade. It was one of my favorite days to trade just due to the volatility. But there goes crude oil beginning to pull back a little bit. So we got DWT beginning to push up. We'll see if we actually begin to show signs of reversal. So if you have been losing on multiple trades on the day, would you just cut the day? I mean, it depends, right? If you're just becoming flustered, it sounds like you're just getting flustered because of the way that you're commenting and stuff like that. Not that there's anything wrong with the way that you're commenting. I'm just saying, like, your comments are mainly like negative towards your trading right now. So because of that, I could only tell maybe how frustrated you might be with your trade. So if that's the case, when you enter a position, you're already gonna be on edge. So because of that, I would take at least a break and revisit this. So ignore everything that's happening right now, take a break. That's what I would do. And come back if you think that you're going to be collected enough to, revisit this. If not, then just wait for tomorrow. There's nothing wrong with that. Is there any reason to have alerts to have working during pre-market and post-market hours? So during extended hours, alerts on stocks and ETFs do not trigger. If you're putting your alert on the futures, which is what I do, that's why I don't really set alerts on the ETNs or ETFs. I set them on the futures because those do get triggered. Of course. All right, guys. Well, I think we've been live for at least 30 minutes. 42 minutes. Not bad. I had fun during this live stream. I feel like, again, I talked about one of my trades and how it played out and did very well. I took a second trade during this live stream and it didn't work out according to plan. That's okay. I still felt like I managed my risk with a small position size. You guys saw that all happen. Although that trade was not green, I still think it was, I could have done a better job managing risk, so it could have been more successful in keeping my losses even more small, but it would have just been like 1 cent. And the reason I'm saying that is I probably would have cut losses at previous lows, which would have saved me like 2 cents, which would have been like, I don't know, $40 off of that $170 loss. So it's not even that big of a deal. The whole point is that we had this pattern. Once it broke that pattern, we managed our risk and it actually continued to rise, meaning that we would have lost more money if we didn't manage our risk. So I still think that that's a positive note to take on this, and we can just simply follow up with it. So I really do appreciate your guys' time. I wish you guys an amazing rest of your Wednesday. Stay patient, stay consistent. If you feel flustered, if you feel frustrated, take a quick break and then revisit this maybe at a later time or tomorrow when you feel a little bit more collected. I really do appreciate everything that you guys do. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, send me a direct message on Discord. Just please keep it under 150 characters. Thank you guys again for your time. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy.